great. It's unbelievable, the passion, the enthusiasm of the community, LSU supporters across all the stops I've been through. She said, well, you sound down. Everybody seems to have a ring except me. Everybody has a ring except me. Sweet 16 is not good enough, so eventually we want to get to where Coach Chancellor's got, Coach Miles has got, and Coach Burton has got it. But you guys are good.
Coach, obviously you were having a lot of success at Stanford, Sweet 16 run this year. I guess the basketball world and some folks would ask, why does Trent Johnson make the move from Stanford to LSU?
Well, the question is real easy. You're in a situation here that you're one of the premier academic, athletic institutions in the country, and the ability to recruit some of the best players in the country, let alone the best players in the state of Louisiana. It's real obvious to me and everybody in the basketball world that this team was 2 years removed from the Final Four, with basically 70% of the roster from the state of Louisiana. And make no mistake about it, you know, a larger recruiting pool. I have been overwhelmed, and it takes a lot for me to go overwhelmed, because as you'll see, the closer we get to playing games in the season, I tend to be real dry and real focused. But the support here is just mind-boggling. My goodness, it's just mind-boggling. And you know, I don't use the word pressure a lot, but to pressure you all with your excitement and your enthusiasm, that makes me want to do a better job than what I had already planned on doing.
Now, is that the biggest adjustment for you, coming from Stanford to LSU, more so than going from a tree as your mascot to a live tiger that sits out your cage? Or maybe going from a different kind of band to the golden band from Tiger?
Well, first of all, in both those aspects,
yes,
LSU dominates the Cardinal. No question
okay,
about it.
fair enough.
No question. So that's the question. Well, look, the biggest adjustment for me has been, I wish there were 48 hours and 24-hour days.
Sure.
There's so much to do, so much to try and accomplish in a short period of time. And, you know, I think, in theory, I think you all have to be patient with the group that I'm inheriting. You have to be patient with the kids that we're recruiting, but don't be patient with me. Please don't be patient, because I have a sense of urgency, and I don't mean this in an egotistical standpoint, but it's gonna happen. You know, it took a long time. Again, we went from 9-20 to 10-18 to 17-13, 18-14, and 25-9. Sweet 16, 4 points from beating Georgia Tech, going to Elite Eight. Stanford, that being is pretty much self-explanatory in terms of 16 NCAA appearances in 17 years, and you know, so it's going to happen. But I think the key ingredient for all of it is not the coach; it's the student athletes that we're going to attract and recruit that want to be at LSU and want to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And you know, for me, the exciting part about this is the 100th year celebration of LSU basketball. 100th year. I mean, there's so many good players and great players that you can't even remember, you know, like the Don Reddins and Ricky Blanks and TJ Pughes. And so for me, that's the big theme, but that's the big story this year as opposed to the new coach. And I'm really honored and thankful that I can be a part of that.
Now, I guess the first thing Tiger fans want to know, one of the questions, since Stanford does play out on the left coast and most people are sleeping by the time you get into the second half of Pac-10 games, what kind of style is Trent Johnson going to play?
Well, first of all, I need to defend myself about Stanford. As you can see, Trent Johnson's real rough on the edges. I have a Bossier State degree with Pete. I was just a basketball coach at Stanford. I didn't go to school there. Please, so get that right.
Gotcha.
But no, we're going to defend. We're going to rebound with a sense of urgency. Make no question about it. And somewhere along the line, we're going to take care of the ball. And we're going to play the game the way it's to be played. Fundamentally, the guys are going to be solid. They're going to be sound. It's going to take time. But I think the word I've always used is with passion, but also with a sense of urgency. And try to stay on an even keel. I think emotion only gets you so far during the period of a game, during the period of a season. And we're going to treat every opponent the same. You know, we're going to get to a point where Kentucky is going to be just as big a game as an exhibition game or a practice. I think that's the only way young student athletes get better, and that's the way good basketball teams get. You know, I've had a an interesting 9 years as a head coach. And the thing I take great pride in is from the majority of all my teams, with the exception of one, got better as the year progressed and played their best basketball team in the year. So that's the goal.
Coach, obviously you had to hit the floor running. One of the things you had to take care of was a recruiting class that was put together by the previous coaching staff, and talk about, I guess, some of the ups and downs that comes along with that.
Well, I think anytime there's a coaching change, and for the most part, anytime there's a young man or two who are they sign or make a verbal commitment, then they change their mind, there's a gray area there where there's some doubt. And, Bobo Morgan is a young man everybody seems to be talking about, curious about, and he's a quality kid, he's a good kid, but he's not Shaquille O'Neal. Well, what you have to understand is this is LSU, and no one player or two is going to be bigger than this program or bigger than this institution. And we're going to get good players, but more importantly, we're going to get guys who want to be here, and that's the important thing. So from that standpoint, the game has changed from the recruitment standpoint. When there's a coaching change, sometimes guys want to leave because they get too attached to a coach or an assistant coach. Everywhere I've been, every home I've been in, I've always told those kids that I've recruited, you want to pick that school based off, and I tell them to be selfish. You want to pick that school based off the school and the teammates that you're going to play with. I was in a situation I left Stanford. I was real close to 3 young men. I told them both to fulfill their commitment to attend Stanford University, and with the exception of one of them, they're all 2 are gone. So that's my philosophy on recruitment in a sense, and I think if you look at the premier programs that are consistent from start to finish over a long period of time, and there's no ups and downs, they have a quality group of kids who want to play for that institution, and their teammates and themselves. Again, I take great pride in the fact that at Marquette, Sweet 16, I got ejected in the first half. Well,
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Follow me on this. Well, this speaks volumes to the program, and the kids understand that thing was on autopilot. And they continued to play because they understood there was certain coaches' voices that they heard during the course of the year. And I take great pride in that because that means during the course of the time, myself along with our staff, we've helped educate those kids in the fashion that's supposed to be done in terms of understanding that this is their team, this is their program, and you got one idiot screaming and hollering, and when he's gone, things will work fine.
As we look forward to next season, you inherit a group of players, a couple of them around 3 years ago when this team made a Final Four run. Your impressions of the nucleus that's returning?
Well, for the most part, good kids. Good kids people make no mistake. I think, there has been some doubt. I think a lot of them have lost confidence during the coaching change during the long season. We got a couple guys that are banged up. So I haven't spent a lot of time watching game tape or even trying to evaluate it. We just met and just talked. I think anytime you change and you inherit a group, trust is something that's going to be established over a period of time. And we've had a lot of individual meetings, we've had a lot of team meetings. But my concerns are health factor, academics, and then by the time July rolls around, the first we'll start getting involved in strength and conditioning and developing a base there. So, I talk about the 5 A's. Guys need to be aggressive, need to have a positive attitude, and during the course of a game, have a negative attitude, be able to adjust to circumstances, officiating, so on and so forth. Be aggressive and be accountable to each other. And then the last one, which is number 6, is the academics are important. So that's what we're doing right now. And we've got a chance to be a solid team, but the main thing for us is to establish a base at every little thing we do and pay attention to details.
Coach, you made the adjustment to the climate down here. I'm in Palo Alto. You get up there in Northern California. Some hotels don't have AC units in there. And Baton Rouge, welcome to the sauna.
Unfortunately, the gyms are air conditioned now,
okay.
But I do like the heat. Coach Miles has let me know what's going on. So if we're not doing things the way we want to have them done and competing at a high level inside, we'll go outside.
Pass on that track in June, July.